Alright, so this part I wanted to just model some of these larger pieces that we still haven't gotten to yet, such as this underneath there, the rear bumper part, and also this lip bit thing. Then after that we still have some other little pieces to go and model. These back headlights, the spoiler, whatever thing, the antenna, and of course we have wheels. But before we jump into modeling just those three bottom pieces, someone sent in a suggestion. It was a cool little video. It's a little bit more advanced subsurface modeling, but I'll put the link to it in the description if you want to check it out. But it basically just helps us get smooth reflections. As you probably know, cars are very shiny most of the time, and very shiny objects, a huge part of getting them to look good and nice is to have the reflections reflect clearly, I guess. And to do that, we've done a pretty good job so far, but as brought out in the video, even if we pay a lot of attention to our topology and our clean edge flow, which we have, it still can be difficult to get clean reflections. And just a little trick, I'm not going to talk about everything they do in that video, because you can watch it if you want to, but one point I do want to mention is the use of matcaps, which if we open up our right toolbar, the end bar, and scroll down to the shading portion, if it could just open it if it's not, we can check off matcaps. And a matcap is basically just sort of a fill-in material that only shows up in your viewport that you can swap out. But particularly these two at the bottom, which are very, very shiny and reflective, sort of imitating what our car paint material would be like, helps us to get a good idea of the reflections we have going on in our car. So if you just rotate around, you can, you're sort of able to tell. We do have some mess areas like here, but this helps us to visualize the sort of reflections in our vehicle before creating the materials. And like I said already, ours isn't perfect, but it's alright. I'm happy enough with it, but if you want to get more advanced take this to the next level, I'll link that video in the description. You can check it out if you want. But yeah, this is a cool little trick to take a look at. Matcaps. Cool. Alright, so let's just model these other parts. They're not too difficult, so it shouldn't take us too long. So, to get this bottom portion, I'm just going to select these edges down here. Shift D to duplicate, because it's going to be a separate piece. Right click, I don't want to move it, and I'm just going to click Control I and hide to work with just this one piece. And then since the door sort of cuts through that, but we don't want the panel lines to that, I'm going to delete some of these vertices and merge them to just simplify the geometry a little bit. Same on this other one. Nothing new here, just same old, same old. You're going to extrude everything down and straighten it out, which was scale. Choose the axis you want to straighten it out on, and just type in 0. And this actually isn't straight, so I'm just going to click R to rotate it. And some of our normals are backwards, so I'm just going to select everything using A, Control N to make those, flip those normals, and then just sort of, actually I'm going to bring this piece down a little bit, so we have a little bit of a panel line between those two. So just bring that down a little bit. Going to Alt H to unhide this, and I'm going to bring this in according to our front view, just send something like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and add in some reinforcement loop cuts. Probably add the reinforcement loop cuts to this upper portion as well. Do that front piece, the front fender, the door, and this rear behind the door. Just to sharpen those corners up. And to give it some depth, I'm going to select all of these edges between there. Go to our front view, extrude, and just bring them in a little bit. That video that I was mentioning does have a different. I kind of like that as a different way of adding depth to the car. Like I said, it is a little bit more advanced, but I think it's a much better way to do things, and I'm definitely going to change my personal workflow for it. But we already started this way, so I'm going to keep doing it this way for now. But you can check that video out and see if it's interesting to you. Alright, so we have that piece. Just going to go ahead and click Shift Z to give it a quick render, viewport render, just to see if I like the gap between the. Yeah, that looks alright to me. Let's go ahead and move on to this back piece. I'm going to repeat the same process. Select the border for the entire piece, Shift D to duplicate, Control I, and hide H. And I'm going to just extrude this out. I'm going to extrude it out in two pieces. The side piece as one portion. Just sort of line them up according to our right side view. And then I will go ahead and select all these other vertices, go to our rear view, and extrude them down that way. And then bring everything in. And then just go ahead and fill in that face. Our normals are all backwards. So we're going to have to fix that, which is just select everything, Control N. Let's go ahead and select this edge, just GG edge slide it ever so slightly down. That might be even too much. No, I think that'll be fine. So we have that portion. Let's go ahead and sort of work it into place. We do have these that don't need to have out because the license plate area doesn't extend that far. Go ahead and bring those out. It does leave a gap, but we'll go ahead and fill that in a second. Probably don't need these edge loops either, so instead of deleting the vertices, I'm going to click X and just select edge loops to delete solely the edge loops, just to simplify that down a little bit. And probably we could add an edge loop through here to bring out these side vertices ever so slightly, just round it off a little bit. Something like that. And I do have a reference picture of the back, because right now we just have the outer portion. Now we just have to get sort of the underneath bit where the exhaust cutouts are. Let me just think about how I want to do that real quick. Actually, before we do that, the exhaust cutouts, I'm just going to add a little bit of depth to this, which I think, do we do? No. Alright, I'm going to do that after, actually. Sorry. Let's go ahead and grab these exhaust cutouts. I'm going to keep this open, so I have that as reference. Sort of what we kind of want to do is probably extrude out. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to select not the entire, not all the way back, but just sort of like halfway through this bottom portion, select an edge there to extrude out. I'm going to give it sort of a 45-degree angle, and I'm just going to freehand this kind of, and then just extrude this in as little vertices as you can in order to get the shape of this exhaust cut out. Something like that. And then this last portion, again, give it a 45-degree slant. Then we can extrude it out like that, all the way to the center. Now this is horribly misaligned, so from our side view, so let's go ahead and fix that. Kinda, actually, I'm actually just going to delete these front vertices, or the back vertices, yeah. I'm just going to do that. It's just so we have this one single outline of vertices. And then I'm just going to sort of line these up to our right side view. It might be kind of hard to see, but just follow the line of the pieces that we already have modeled. Maybe even go underneath and, not that. Not that one. And it sort of comes back as it goes down. Alright, something like that will probably fine. This one probably could even come, no, let's just stay straight. Alright. That was kind of complicated. But let's go ahead and fill in these faces. I'll add an edge loop up here to do that. I'll extrude this all the way back to fill in that quad. Add here. Fill in that. Add one more there. Actually, you know what I want to do? Let's add one here. That just gives me a loop around that thing, that piece there. Something like that. I'm just going to add GG some of these into a place I think is better. Something like that. Alright, that looks fine to me. I'm going to extrude these out along our X just to sort of give that some width as well. And then what I am going to do is add an edge loop here to sharpen that border up. Move these, round these out a bit. Bring that out. Something like that. Just going to sort of neaten everything up a little bit, even things out. Something like that's probably fine. Now with this border shape, what I want to do is extrude that, sort of scale it in a little bit. Actually, I'm going to split it up into two pieces. I'm going to split it up into this semicircle, extrude it out, then like that. Just give it a little bit of a border. Let's go ahead and, yep, that's probably fine. Border, then just bring it out. And bevel. How does that look? It's alright to me. Alright, so this probably goes around the entire, yeah, this goes around the entire thing. Alright. I'm going to select all of these and just do it in one go. Scale, bring it down. Yeah, that'll be fine. These ones probably can come up. These ones can come down. Come out. Just trying to even it out. Alright, so that'll be our little border piece. Let's go ahead and give it an reinforcement edge there. This will be the ridge. Bring that out. And then Control B to bevel to give it some depth. This isn't even smooth shaded yet. And smooth shaded if it's not already. Alright, yeah, I think that looks good. Check from our side view. Maybe we could even bring these in a little bit more, something like that. I don't know, you can mess around with it till you think it looks good. Let's give it a look with the matcap, like the red one. It looks like there's some strange shading there. Yeah, that's because we need to bring this out as well. But yeah, these matte caps really help you see what's wrong with your model. Don't be discouraged if you change a lot of things looking at it. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring... I don't want it to just end there. I want it to come down a little bit, so let's go ahead and select some of these vertices down here. Sorry if I'm not really explaining much. I mean, should sort of know for the most part how to do all these things. Just messing around with it. Just evening these out. Down. Yeah, something like that. I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and extrude some edges around here to give this some depth. Just going to extrude, scale in. Let's go ahead and give it a border. And that fills in that gap there underneath the license plate. Probably even come up a little bit, this entire piece. Gonna Alt-H to unhide. Select everything. Just grab everything, bring it up a little bit closer. Oh, we're also missing some depth to this piece here. So let's go ahead and take this, repeat that same process, extrude, scale in. Go ahead and give it a border. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit more. Alright. I'm happy with it. Alright, yeah, I think that looks good. Yeah, I do have some areas I want to fix up with this looking through this matte cap. Alright, nevertheless, let's go ahead and move on to this front lip piece. This is a little different. I want to select the entire border, the bottom border, and up into that point also. Maybe even this one too. Hold on, let me just think about this for a sec. That comes down. Yeah, I'm going to select all of those pieces there and these ones. Shift D to duplicate, right click, Control I, hide everything. Let's go ahead and model this. Alright, so these are the borders that I want. I'm going to go ahead and select everything on the bottom. Shift D to duplicate and sort of bring it down to the actual bottom piece of this. Alright, here's another reference picture. This is like the same that we were looking at last time, I think. Just gives you a nice close-up of the shape of this. So I'm going to keep that open. Alright. Hold on, I want to not have these. I'm going to connect these two and sort of bring this bottom piece out to there, and bring these front pieces up to here. And then sort of, let me see, where does it come in? Maybe right around here. They come back in. Something like that. There's a little bit of a weird curve. Alright. Let's go ahead and give this some depth. I'm going to select this bottom piece again, minus that and that. Extrude up. Turn off subsurface for a sec. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to take this. I'm just going to add a loop cut for now, actually, and do that. Extrude that at an angle to fill in this face, and I want it to meet up. Not there. I want to extrude these out, actually. Yeah, don't connect these, actually. I'm going to go ahead and delete that edge, and I'm going to take this piece and extrude it sort of along. I want this eventually to meet up with the pieces that we have extruded as, that we duplicated it as borders. And I'm going to go ahead and meet that up there. And we don't want faces in here. So I'm going to select those faces, those inner faces, and I'm going to click delete and only faces. And maybe these edges in between them too. And I don't actually need these. Cool. Alright, sorry. This is a bit of a complicated shape. And now I'm going to fill in that triangle and then these quads. Do we need... Go ahead and repeat that process for the back part. Alright, I probably did this the most complicated way possible. When I do that, that's gonna look kind of nasty. Yeah, it's fine. Fine for now. Alright, so now we can just go ahead and fill in these faces. And you know what we probably could do? Select it. Select that. And actually, I think that's an add-on. So I have an add-on called Loop Tools, and it gives us this feature to bridge. To turn it on, you can go to File, User Preferences, Add-ons, and then just type in Loop Tools. And you can check that off if you'd like, or you can just go ahead and fill them in manually. I'll just fill them in manually. Wait, what's a... That was a tip from someone. I've never done that before. But if you just select that, fill in one face, and then click F to fill it in, and then continue clicking F, it'll just go down along the line. Cool. Just gonna go ahead and neaten these up a little bit. Maybe not that one. Where it goes in. So when we apply our subsurface, it sort of rounds everything out. Gonna smooth shade it. Let's go ahead and sharpen it up with some loop cuts. One for up there. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this entire thing up a little bit. Maybe even bring it out a little more. Something like that. And I kind of do want to, this needs to be sharpened up a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and add a loop cut to that point there, except I want it to just, I'm going to use a knife tool to sharpen it up, make a triangle across. So I'm going to start there, just go down like that. And that sharpens that point up, probably sharpen this point up as well. Yeah, something like that maybe. Maybe not even that much. It's kind of hard to tell how this is supposed to go because it's not visible from any of our views. So just sort of work with it until you're happy with it. And what I do want to do is give this some depth up here. So I'm going to use a tool called Rip, and I'm going to rip this out X. I'm going to turn that off for a sec. Rip is V, by the way. Basically just tears it apart to, I want to fill this in with a quad. And then we can fill it in on the back as well. So fill in that triangle, and then since those are the 4 vertices, select the 2 triangles, you can just click F to fill it in, and then just fill in up top. And then what we can do is add a loop cut to there to sharpen it up. Cool. Yeah, I like it. That looks pretty good, I think. I'm happy with that piece. Alright, cool. Yeah, that wraps up those 3 pieces. Sorry for the super long delay that I had into getting this video out. A lot of stuff just happened at the same time. But in the next part, let's focus on these rear lights and the spoiler and antenna, and then we can do the front and wheels, and then we'll be done modeling. Well, there are a couple other pieces like mirrors and stuff, but we'll figure that out along the way. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you found something useful. Do check out that other video if you're interested in a different approach to adding depth to the car, and just a further explanation on the matcap and sort of a more advanced subsurf modeling workflow. See you later. Bye.